Starting July 2025, TSA is enforcing a series of major security updates. Not knowing these new changes to carry-on rules will catch travelers off guard, leading to longer delays, flagged bags, and missed flights. If you're flying in July, knowing what's changed isn't optional. It's essential to avoid trouble at the airport. So, here are 6 carry-on rules that will affect you in July 2025. 1. Your carry-on must go in a bin. No exceptions. If you've flown in recent years, you've probably noticed how the TSA checkpoint has evolved. But in 2025, the shift is more dramatic and impossible to ignore. The latest transformation comes in the form of automated screening lanes, a major departure from the traditional single-file process of placing items on a conveyor belt. These new lanes are designed to feel more like an organized self-service station, with separate areas for each traveler. Thanks to multi-lane conveyors and spacious loading areas, several people can unpack their bags at the same time, which significantly speeds things up. However, with this convenience comes a new, and strictly enforced, requirement. Every item you're carrying, including your suitcase, must be placed inside a bin. Yes, that's right. Even if your carry-on is perfectly within the airline's size restrictions. Even if it would otherwise slide neatly onto the belt. Even if you've always placed it directly on the belt before without a problem. Those days are over. Why is this such a big deal now? The bins in these new lanes aren't ordinary plastic tubs. They've been upgraded and enlarged, roughly 25% bigger than their predecessors. But size isn't the most important part. These bins are now equipped with RFID tracking chips, which sync with TSA's automated systems. Each bin can now be followed as it moves through the X-ray process, helping TSA staff monitor, track, and make screening decisions more efficiently. That automation, however, only works if all your belongings are actually inside a bin. If you try to skip the bin for your bag, even something small like a laptop bag or purse, it can trigger alerts, hold up your items for manual inspection, or cause a lane-wide delay. Not using a bin doesn't just impact your screening, it may affect everyone in line behind you. And yes, this includes suitcases, backpacks, tote bags, camera bags, and any other personal items you're carrying. If it's coming through the checkpoint with you, it must go in a bin. To keep things moving smoothly, place larger electronics like laptops and tablets in a separate bin, and make sure they're not covered by clothes, jackets, or chargers. TSA systems are calibrated to scan electronics more clearly when they are unobstructed and flat. Stacking items can confuse the system and increase the chances of secondary screening. 2. You're in charge of your own ID check. The TSA is also rolling out a major upgrade to how your identity is verified at the airport, and it places more responsibility directly in your hands. The days of handing over your ID and boarding pass to an agent may soon be behind us, at least in many major airports. From now on, you must scan your own ID and boarding pass at a TSA kiosk before your bags can be screened. This rule applies to travelers using the self-service security lanes that are currently being introduced in large airports like LAX, Las Vegas, and Baltimore, with more locations expected throughout 2025. These self-check stations function similarly to the self-checkout registers you've seen at supermarkets, touchscreen interfaces where you scan, verify, and move on. While this change may seem simple, it requires some key preparation from travelers, especially if you're used to tucking your passport or ID deep into your bag after checking in. Why this change matters? The TSA kiosk won't let you move forward unless you've scanned both a valid ID, passport, driver's license, or real ID, and your boarding pass. This means you must have those documents ready and accessible the moment you reach the kiosk. If you haven't planned ahead and need to rummage through your bag to find your ID, you risk holding up the line, annoying fellow passengers, and possibly being pulled aside by a TSA officer. The entire goal of this system is to reduce human error, speed up the process, and allow travelers to move through without direct agent interaction. But if you're not ready when your turn comes, you'll become the bottleneck. What happens if you fail to comply? Travelers who are unable to scan their documents, who don't have their ID ready, or who fumble with boarding pass apps for too long may be asked to exit the self-service lane and go through a more traditional checkpoint. That means longer wait times and additional stress. Keep your ID and boarding pass in a place you can reach instantly: a jacket pocket, travel wallet, or external pouch on your backpack or suitcase. Avoid packing them inside interior pockets or between clothes. Also, if you're using a digital boarding pass, ensure your phone is fully charged and the screen brightness is up. Glare or dim screens can interfere with scanner readability. 3. Digital ID is now accepted, but you still need to carry the physical one. Welcome to the future of air travel, where your smartphone can now serve as your ID, at least in certain airports. The TSA has officially started accepting digital identification through apps like Apple Wallet and Google Wallet, making the airport experience feel a little more like a sci-fi movie. With just a tap or scan from your phone, you can now confirm your identity at selected TSA checkpoints without pulling out a traditional ID card. But before you ditch your physical documents completely, there's a very important rule every traveler must understand. Digital ID is accepted, but you are still required to carry your physical ID as backup. No exceptions. This is not just a suggestion, it's a TSA policy. Think of digital ID as a convenient alternative, not a complete replacement for your physical driver's license or passport. Even if your mobile device works perfectly 99% of the time, there's always that 1% chance where something goes wrong. And that's where things can unravel fast. Imagine you've made it to the airport on time. You're at the front of the line, and your phone suddenly dies, or the app crashes, or your Bluetooth is off. Now what? TSA officers won't let you through unless you can show a valid, physical form of identification. No ID, no boarding pass, and, unfortunately, no boarding your flight. The digital ID process is still being rolled out in phases, and while it's functional at more airports than ever before, the system isn't fail-proof. Some TSA agents may still require a physical ID for confirmation, especially during random security checks or if the scanner has trouble validating your mobile document. If you can't produce your original ID when asked, your travel day might be over before it begins. This applies to both domestic and international travelers. Even for those using digital passports during biometric entry trials, the TSA clearly states that a physical passport must still be present. This is especially important for international flyers passing through customs or immigration, where original documentation is non-negotiable. What if your phone battery dies in the security line? Your Bluetooth is off and the system won't connect. The app doesn't load due to poor signal or software issues. A TSA officer asks for a traditional ID due to system verification requirements. You're selected for random screening and must show backup credentials. Each of these scenarios has happened before, and they'll happen again, especially as digital ID technology continues to grow. To avoid any last-minute panic, carry your physical ID in an easily accessible spot. An RFID blocking sleeve will protect your identity and prevent digital theft, especially in crowded airports. Store your ID in a front-facing pouch on your carry-on or in a jacket pocket. Just don't tuck it deep inside your luggage where it's hard to reach. You'll thank yourself when the TSA suddenly asks for it. Also, ensure your smartphone is charged before leaving for the airport. If you're using your phone for boarding, ID, and navigation, battery drain is real. Keep a portable charger handy to avoid surprises at the gate. 4. Facial recognition technology will scan you. One of the biggest shifts in air travel security isn't happening in your hands, it's happening in your face. As of 2025, facial recognition technology is being used in over 200 airports across the United States, and it's fast becoming the default method for identity verification at TSA checkpoints. And the rule you need to know is simple, yet powerful. If you do not clearly opt out, TSA will use facial recognition to scan your identity automatically. Gone are the days when every traveler handed over an ID to an agent. Instead, at many checkpoints now, you simply stand in front of a camera, wait for a photo to be taken, and the system will match your face to the image stored in your passport or ID records. The process takes only a few seconds and is shockingly accurate, boasting a 97% success rate, according to TSA data. But make no mistake, just because it's high-tech doesn't mean it's foolproof or without controversy. Facial recognition speeds things up, but it also means you're being scanned whether you realize it or not. There's no flashing sign that says, "Smile, we're scanning you." If you walk into the checkpoint and stand in the designated spot, the system activates by default. Unless you clearly tell a TSA officer that you wish to opt out, your face will be captured and compared. So, if you're concerned about privacy, data storage, or just uncomfortable with biometric identification, it's important to know that you have the right to opt out, but only if you speak up first. Another reason this matters: if facial recognition fails to match your ID because of poor lighting, face coverings, or even minor cosmetic changes, then you'll be flagged. This typically results in manual screening, where your carry-on may be inspected, and your time through the checkpoint could be significantly delayed. For travelers hoping to breeze through security with carry-on luggage only, that kind of delay can be frustrating and even dangerous if your boarding time is close. Things that can disrupt facial recognition: wearing a hat, sunglasses, or face mask, holding your phone in front of your face, poor posture, or stepping out of the marked zone. Lighting that casts shadows over your facial features. These seemingly small things can cause the system to fail, even if you've traveled successfully with facial recognition in the past. There's no automatic prompt at the checkpoint asking for your permission. You have to proactively tell the TSA officer that you don't want to use facial recognition. Once you do, you'll be directed to a traditional ID verification process, just like before. It's slightly slower, but still effective. If you skip the opt-out step and the system scans you, there's no going back. It's done. If you're open to facial recognition, make sure you're camera ready before stepping into the checkpoint zone. That means remove sunglasses, take off hats, and keep phones out of your face. Look directly into the camera, stand still for a moment, and let the system work. It'll usually take just one photo and clear you in seconds. But if you're opting out, let the officer know as soon as you reach the front of the line. Don't wait until you're in the camera's view. By then, it may already be too late. The liquid rule still stands unless a CT scanner is in use. Let's clear up one of the most misunderstood parts of airport security: the rule about carrying liquids. With all the recent technology upgrades, especially the introduction of CT scanners, many travelers assume the old liquid restrictions have been scrapped. Unfortunately, that's not true. At least, not yet. Unless a TSA officer clearly says otherwise, you must remove your liquids from your carry-on. These new CT, computed tomography scanners, are impressive. They produce detailed 3D images of the contents inside your bag, allowing security agents to inspect items without needing you to unpack everything. This system was designed to reduce the need for passengers to remove liquids and electronics at security checkpoints. But the key word here is reduce. These machines are not available at every airport or in every screening lane just yet. Most TSA checkpoints still use traditional X-ray machines, which can't analyze liquids in the same way. If you forget to take out your small shampoo bottles or lotion from your bag, your carry-on may be pulled aside, opened, and searched, causing unnecessary delays and extra screening. Even if your airport has CT scanners, the policy often remains the same. You need to remove liquids unless explicitly told not to. And yes, the classic 311 rule still applies. That means liquids must be in containers no larger than 3.4 ounces, 100 milliliters. All containers must fit into one quart-sized clear plastic bag. One bag per passenger. To save time and stress at the checkpoint, pack your liquids in a clear zip-top pouch and store it in an outer pocket of your carry-on. That way, you can grab it quickly and place it in the bin without digging through your entire suitcase. Do the same for your laptop or tablet. Accessibility matters. Until CT scanners become standard across all terminals, it's smarter to stick to the liquid rule. That way, you'll avoid any unnecessary surprises. 6. Luggage tagging errors are now a major security concern. As airport security systems become more digitized, one area many travelers overlook is the importance of accurate luggage tagging, especially for carry-ons. While it might seem like a minor detail, mismatched or missing tags can now trigger full bag inspections in modern TSA screening lanes. Your carry-on must have accurate identification and match your boarding details, or it could be flagged for inspection. With new tracking systems in place, like RFID-enabled bins and AI-driven sorting technology, TSA checkpoints now rely on digital linkages between your bag, ID, and boarding pass. If your bag's tag doesn't match your travel record, it can interrupt the automated process, forcing TSA agents to pull the bag out of the screening lane for manual verification. Today's smart systems are designed to identify anomalies and inconsistencies. If your luggage lacks a barcode or name tag, or if your carry-on doesn't match the profile on your TSA scan, the system may flag it as a potential risk. That could mean added screening, delays, or even having to prove your identity again, especially if your ID and carry-on become separated. For travelers with multiple bags or those in a hurry, it's surprisingly easy to mix up items or forget proper labeling. And if TSA pulls your carry-on due to a tagging issue, it's not just your time at stake. It could also affect other passengers behind you. Use a luggage tag on all your bags, including carry-ons. Include your full name, phone number, and email address, not just initials. If using a smart tag, like an Apple AirTag or Tile, make sure it's registered and working. Keep your boarding pass and ID close by, especially in self-screening lanes. Attach a secondary tag inside your carry-on as a backup. If the outer tag rips off, TSA can still identify you by referencing the internal one. This is especially helpful if your bag is pulled during screening and separated from you temporarily. As the TSA continues upgrading to smarter systems, little mistakes, like a missing luggage tag, can lead to big delays. Be proactive, label your bags properly, and avoid becoming a cautionary tale in the security line. Adapt now. Avoid delays. Later, the TSA's evolving carry-on rules may seem like small changes at first glance, but together, they represent a dramatic shift in how airport security is conducted. From self-service ID checks to facial recognition and advanced CT scanners, modern security screening is no longer just about walking through metal detectors and placing bags on a conveyor belt. It's about integrating technology with passenger behavior, and that means your habits must evolve too. As air travel becomes increasingly digitized, you'll be expected to do more of the work yourself. Whether it's scanning your own ID, using facial recognition instead of handing over your documents, or knowing when to remove liquids and electronics from your bag, these changes are designed to move people through security more efficiently. But that only works if passengers know the rules and follow them. Otherwise, the process can slow down, not just for you, but for everyone in line behind you. It's also important to stop assuming that the old rules still apply. Many travelers rely on outdated habits they picked up over years of flying, habits that can now lead to delays, secondary screenings, or worse, missed flights. TSA agents aren't trying to make life harder. These updates are part of a larger strategy to enhance both safety and efficiency. If you're informed and prepared, these new systems can actually work in your favor. So the next time you travel, whether it's a quick domestic flight or a long-haul international journey, take a few moments to review the latest rules. Make sure your ID is accessible, your carry-on is packed properly, and you're ready to interact with the technology at the checkpoint. A few extra minutes of planning at home can save you a lot of stress at the airport. In the end, adapting to these changes isn't just about following rules, it's about traveling smarter. If you stay ahead of the updates, you'll pass through security faster, avoid unnecessary hassles, and enjoy a much smoother journey from check-in to takeoff.